If you heard a phone ring in 2007, there's a good chance you would hear it to the tune of "Ay Baby" by Hurricane Chris. The rapper thrived in the ringtone market in the late 2000s, but then felt the wrath of the fickle music industry. More recently, he was just facing a murder charge and 20 plus years behind bars. Let's take a look back at April 10th, 2007. Before the trap sound of southern rap was in total domination mode, back when another southbound subgenre of rap called Crunk was the turn-up style that included loud call-and-response choruses yelled out over thick bass lines, layers of synthesizer keys, and big drum machine claps. Crunk was popularized by plenty of well-known rap acts like Memphis Trio 36 Mafia, Atlanta DJ and producer Lil Jon, and others. This niche genre became mainstream with hits such as Right There by Chingy and Slow Motion by Juvenile featuring Soulja Slim. Then everybody and anybody heard of Yeah by Usher alongside Lil Jon and Ludacris. A big part of this movement was also Hurricane Chris, who was named after his hurricane-like rap cadence. His debut single "Ay Baby" was really the anthem of sweaty dance floor partygoers in the South. The phrase "Ay Baby" came from a chant a local club used to introduce Hurricane Chris's DJ. It peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and number 3 on the rap charts. It blew up big enough to demand a remix that was overflowing with guest vocals from Jadakiss, The Game, E40, Lil Boosie, and Angie Loke. There were even artists other than Hurricane Chris who made their own remixes of "Ay Baby" to catch some shine from the song's heat. From "Ay Baby" onward, Hurricane Chris's wave was soaring higher and higher as he went on to work with other producers like Atlanta's Mr. Collie Park, who was known for his work with the Yin Yang Twins. During the 2000s, a major get-rich revenue stream was the sale of popular songs shortened into ringtones. And with the rise of music streaming, ringtones provided an entirely new cash cow for artists, music streaming being illegal pirated music at this point in time. For Chris, this newfound fame was a lot to take in. I think it happened so fast that I didn't even get a chance to realize what was going on. They picked me up from Shreveport, Louisiana, and nobody knew who I was. Within a month of being on the tour bus, I'm stopping at hotel rooms and my video is on TV every time we look at a TV, or every time we turn on the radio. I'm on the radio. It was a lot for a youngster. Then there was the official "Ay Baby" music video that rose up to number 1 on BET's 106 & Park TV show. Chris's mixtape "Louisianimal" would come out in 2007 August alongside his full-length album 5150 Ratchet in October 2007 that would be underwhelming in terms of chart position at number 24 on the Billboard 200 charts. Along with follow-up singles "The Hand Clap" and "Plays Rock," it looked like nothing but glory days were potentially ahead for Hurricane Chris if he was able to make a comeback on this massive hit. However, the chaotic, uncontrollable nature of fame was something Hurricane Chris, who was only 18 years old the day his debut album came out, would struggle with. When he was around 17, 18, he said he was driving a Lamborghini Gallardo, but since the insurance was crazy expensive, he would let it go. Chris even stated that he blew right through $300,000 to $400,000 in a single month. Instead of getting stuck in this phase of easy come, easy go, he started investing in real estate, which included his decision to purchase 2 halfway houses. He would tell Vice, "I did that and I had 2 halfway houses, like for rehabilitating people who were coming home from jail. It was really something I wanted to do to help the community and be able to help people that was going through their situation because I had a father who did jail time. He came home, and our focus was to get him back on his feet and up and running. So that really made me want to help people coming home because it's real hard. When you're coming home with a criminal history to get back productive and into society, you can't get a job and people look down on you." There was a 2-year gap between Hurricane's first album in 2007 and his sophomore album Unleashed, dropping on December 21st, 2009. It was released on the Polo Grounds record label, distributed through J Records, founded by old school music industry mogul Clive Davis. Polo Grounds has had a whole lot of success in the rap game, from A$AP Rocky and the whole crew, Pitbull, Yo Gotti, and even Young Jock. Despite the track record of this label though, Hurricane Chris's second album would be a massive fall off. With Unleashed, Hurricane would drop his first single, the track Halle Berry, named after the Hollywood actress. For the remix to Halle Berry, he followed the first formula of the single, "Ay Baby," piled on a large list of special guests, everyone from Pitbull, Ludacris, Yo Gotti, Young Jock, and a couple of others. Despite sticking to the same formula, the numbers weren't looking as good as the first hit. While "Ay Baby" peaked at number 7, Halle Berry peaked at number 52. 5150 Ratchet debuted at number 24, where as far as I can tell, Unleashed only appeared in Billboard's hip-hop and R&B charts and didn't even chart on the 200. While there are thousands of rappers that would jump at the chance of being on Billboard at all, Hurricane Chris was on the decline after having a single hit. And for whatever reason, the sophomore album would become his last. If you were singing along to Hurricane Chris music when he was sitting at the top of the music chain, it might have come as a shock to you when he suddenly vanished after releasing only 2 albums. There may have just been some behind-the-scenes elements that contributed to Hurricane Chris' disappearance from the spotlight. Apparently, he had a disagreement with the CEO of his former record label that may have led to some levels of blocking future music industry opportunities. Without a label, he released some mixtapes. His post-Polo Grounds mixtape releases included Louisianimal Part 2, Part 3, Part 3.5, and Category 5, all of which came out in 2010. Caniac would come out until 3 years later in 2013, then more extended gaps continued with Hurricane Season in 2015 and King Kane in 2017. Between 2010 and 2013, the independent version of Hurricane Chris hopped on songs with people like Trey the Truth, The Game, Lil Snoop, and Soulja Boy, but the buzz wasn't there. Even if the name Hurricane Chris is a little foggy to some rap fans because it was either before their time or way after it, there's one thing that's connected to Hurricane Chris that they may recognize right off the bat. He helped to popularize the slang term ratchet, used to describe someone with loose, carefree behavior who doesn't have any concern for what people may think or the law. Not only was the word ratchet a part of his first album title, but the phrase got an entire Hurricane Chris song dedicated to in 2014 with the song Ratchet with Lil Boosie. During 2015 and beyond, though, most of the attention that Hurricane Chris was getting in the media had nothing to do with his music. In July 2015, Hurricane Chris was oddly enough complaining online about rappers who used the internet to complain about rappers. He spoke about a situation that had nothing to do with him, stating that the beef between Drake and Meek Mill should have been handled on a personal level and not by pitting their fans against each other. As far as internet feuds were concerned, Hurricane Chris seemed to have forgotten that he had his own slight one with Kodak Black when Kodak hopped on Instagram that same year and said that he wanted to physically fight Lil Wayne. Hurricane Chris quickly showed Wayne some Louisiana love and was one of several rappers who defended Lil Wayne against Kodak Black's comments. Hurricane Chris even said that he was willing to fight Kodak himself on behalf of Wayne. Kodak Black then posted a short video on Instagram that referred to Hurricane's song A Bebe that was around 8 years old at that point, and still Chris's only platinum hit. This would be followed up by Hurricane Chris Don't Play With Me, which was a diss towards Kodak Black that got a couple million plays on World Star Hip Hop. Despite being unsigned for years, he was still a rapper that people would tune in when he did something. But when you move Hurricane Chris' timeline 5 years forward from that moment, things changed drastically. On June 19, 2020, police responded to a shooting at a Texaco gas station in the 2600 block of Hollywood Avenue. The victim was found with multiple gunshot wounds inflicted on him. Hurricane Chris, or as the police report stated, Christopher Dooley Jr., was arrested. He was charged with 1 count of second-degree murder and 1 count of illegal possession of stolen items. He was held in police custody, then released on a $10,000 bond for the stolen property and $500,000 bond for the second-degree murder. After paying these bonds, he released a video, Hello World, Hello World, Hello World. I'm sure you got the news by now. I was involved in a very unfortunate incident on Friday morning. A very unfortunate incident. I want to thank everybody who's been praying for the family of the deceased and everybody who's been praying for my family. Sadly, the gunshot victim connected to this event did not survive. Danzaria Ferris Jr. was pronounced dead at Ochsner LSU Health Hospital at 32 years of age. Hurricane Chris told the cops that the shooting was in self-defense and that the man he put bullets in was attempting to steal Chris's car. However, surveillance footage contradicted Hurricane Chris' recollection of events. Chris had a Mercedes sedan that had allegedly been stolen from the state of Texas. 4 months later, it was reported in the news that Hurricane Chris was charged with murder, and 4 other murder indictments in the Shreveport area were reported, which were presented as a bloody crime wave sweeping through the area. When this trial lingered on and Hurricane Chris was facing life in prison, he started releasing music again on his YouTube channel. In 2022, he released My Bae, which sampled A Bebe. The song currently has 2.1 million views. It's unlikely that he would have done those numbers had he not been making headlines, but he was certainly making the best of a bad situation. On March 14th, though, years later, Hurricane Chris stood before a silent courtroom while they awaited the jury's verdict. A 4-man, 8-woman panel found Hurricane Chris not guilty. He could breathe a sigh of relief. He'd gotten his life back. In an interview with The Shade Room, Hurricane Chris said, "They wanted to give me life if I was found guilty. Now I can hug my son and think about raising him to be a man. The situation drained me and affected my health greatly. God, I give you all the glory. I got my life back, and words can't explain how I feel. Thanks to everyone who wished me well. Crucially, Hurricane Chris didn't want his son to experience the pain he felt of having a father locked up in prison. And given that Hurricane Chris is now a free man, who knows what the future might hold? We have no idea if he's dropped any music, but he likely will. And given that he had what was essentially a massive hit for him, 15 years later, after his first one with My Bae, with a couple million views, this might not be the last that we hear from him.